Hey guys, it's Oakley. I'm back and we're going to be doing another video. This is going to be me playing against the Massagetae. So this is going to be, a couple of you guys requested, what should I bring to fight these guys? I already showed you a battle of me fighting against actually a viewer, and he was using the Massagetae, and obviously the Massagetae have a bunch of heavy cavalry, and I mean they all do, but they're more towards heavy cataphracts and stuff like that. Anyways, in this battle I have the Seleucids, and obviously what you want to do is you can't bring an all infantry army, you have to be able to combat them. So I brought a lot of slingers, and then I also have one unit of archers, and you can see he has a lot of cavalry. I obviously brought some spears because I know at some point I'm gonna have to try and defend my guys from an impending attack, and I also brought my own cavalry because I know I have to ward off some of his archers if they get too close. I have to be able to chase them down. So this map actually plays right into the hands of my opponent. If this were a map where, say, there were a couple of forests, I would obviously hide guys in there. I would definitely put my archers in there. I would try and lay ambushes. I would try and slow them down. This is probably the worst type of battlefield for me to try and fight against and win against my opponent. So what I'm going to try and do is take advantage of the natural features of the terrain, and that's going to be the dune over here. So I'm going to set up 2 rows of these slingers. My hope is that because these guys are hidden from my opponent's view, he won't actually be able to see them, and I can get some sort of a surprise on them. I'm gonna move my slingers up and try and engage his guys here. I don't want them to shoot too long at my men because I know if he starts shooting at them for too long, obviously then he's just gonna be able to whittle me down. So I have to make sure that his guys are forced back while I get on shots. So that's why I'm charging forward with my cavalry, with my spears, with everything. I don't want him to be stationary and get some shots. So what I'm gonna do is charge everything forward, force him back, all the while my guys are shooting at him. So that's gonna be my goal this game, is to keep trying to force my opponent back while at the same time getting on shots with my own slingers. And you can see we've already here put on some pretty good damage, and I'm even going to be able to engage some of his forces on the bottom. I was able to get in there and land a strike on his guys. That's perfect. I'm going to tell these guys to stop, and I'm going to choose a different target that I want them to shoot, because obviously I don't want to shoot my guys in the back. So I'm going to reposition these guys. It looks like he's bringing the rest of his forces. He's not sure if he can reinforce, because the closer he gets, he's just going to get shot at more, and he's within range of my spears. So I'm going to move up the flank over there and try and get at least some sort of a flank on his men over there. Keep him from wrapping around me. Right here I've taken out his noble lancers, so that's going to be a good move for me. If you look at the tab on the bottom, basically all my guys are full strength. I haven't lost anything, and he lost one of his guys, and I still have somewhat terrain advantage. So he's going to move up with his archers, and he's going to start to pick off these guys here who are exposed. They're very light troops, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage to my guys. You're going to see their numbers drop relatively quickly. At the same time, however, I am getting in some shots against his guys. Slingers right here do a pretty good amount of damage. They have decent armor penetration, but again, these are very heavily upgraded, or not upgraded, very heavily armored, I should say, cataphracts, and so it's going to take a lot to take a chunk out of them. You can see after a couple volleys, I've only dropped one of his men, so I'm going to have to pull my guys back constantly, move up my second row. The reason why I don't have all of my slingers shooting at once is because, say for example, he moves like that, then that's a bunch of volleys that I've just missed. So I'm going to try and engage my slingers just a couple rows at a time and keep some in reserve just in case he tries to maneuver. I want some guys in the back who can, for example here, go in and support right there. Also, I don't want to use up all my ammo at once. The second I run out of ammo is when he gets to just sit there and pick me apart. So I want to make sure that I still have some guys left. You can see here what I'm also doing again is trying to bait his guys forwards. He's moving his cataphracts up, and so I move up my spears instead of my cavalry. I know I want my cavalry, and I'm obviously going to keep moving his horse archers back. They can shoot while they're moving backwards, but I'm pretty sure it's less effective than if he was stationary. And he's going to start moving in his lancers. He's going to try and ward my guys back. These guys are going to get a bit close, but that's fine. I'm going to decide to engage these guys with my spears and then some cav here. I'm going to try and wrap up more guys here. You can see my slingers that I told to attack are now going to be pulled off the hill, so you definitely don't want to always be clicking attack orders. Sometimes you want to keep them on just fire at will. What I also do this battle is group some of my units so I can quick select them. I know where some of the groups are. And here I'm trying to gang up on his units, and I've kept more and more guys in reserve in case he moves up more forces. I don't want to be tied down and not be able to protect my slingers. Here you can see I just have one spear unit guarding all of these guys, so the top of the hill is definitely the center of my strategy. He's going to try and shoot them all at once, but with so many units right there, I'm going to be able to do a good amount of damage to him. In the background, you can see his archers on that side are making a push forward. Here again, I'm trying to force his guys back. You can see I didn't even kill any of them just yet, but the second they turn their back on me and I get one more volley, pretty sure we'll be able to do some damage. All the while, though, he is slowly picking away at my men. See right there, once he turned his back, we'd killed off about 15 of his men, so that's perfect. And that's exactly what I want to try and do when I ward him back with my my spears or my cavalry. He presents his back to me, and that's when I do the most damage. So that's what I would say, what I would recommend doing in these types of battles is try and push your opponent back. Don't let him just keep putting on shots on you. Also, I would say stack your skirmishers. Don't put them all in one solid front. It allows you to be more flexible, and it lets you provide, or not provide, I should say, it lets you keep your ammo. What I'm going to do here is try and actually take out his step lancers there. I'm going to make a push forward with my skirmishers on that front. I know he's moved his archers away. That's got one benefit for me, being that you know, he's left his step lancers over there all alone. So if I can isolate them, that means he has less support for his cavalry guys, and I might even be able to chase them off with my own guys. So he's going to start moving his step lancers forward. And he's going to spot an opportunity to actually charge through with my guys. That's very smart. If you're in my opponent's shoes, what you want to do is try and obviously pick off my skirmishers. So I'm going to pull these guys back. My opponent's going to seize the opportunity and go in for the kill. But you can see, because of the supporting troops I had, he's not able to do that. I turn around and am able to put more shots on him. And he's still probing for weaknesses. He has a Cantabrian circle over there. And right here he's moving in more of his archers. So I'm going to pull up my guys from behind the hill and put all my shots on him, combined fire, and again, once more, move in some cavalry to try and chase them off and get the advantage that that is gained when he turns his back. Over here, he's going to move his guys very, very close. He saw that I had changed targets, and so that allows him to get pretty close. And you can just see the amount of damage he's going to be able to inflict on my guys from close quarters. You can see some of my spear units are starting to lose their health. That's fine, though. I think the exchanges have been favorable to myself. I'm even able to push back his flank over here with infantry, so I think that's good. I've bottled up all his horse archers here, and they're going to be facing off against my slingers, which have a superior position, and that's pretty good. My goal here is going to try and chase his guys back and engage them with my cavalry. I'm pretty sure I can get these guys here, so he's going to start throwing in some more lancers, try and slow me down. But by engaging with his guys there, I think I've actually been able to even up the fight. I'm going to try and push his guys back here, support with these units here. And yeah, that's going to be my goal here, and keep putting on the shots. The problem, however, is what you can see here is the further and further away I go from my the base of my support, he just gets to run away and keep shooting at me with all his archers. So that's something you want to do, is really don't get drawn out from your protective position, from the protectiveness of your own your slingers and your skirmishers. So you can see my cavalry guys, which chased off his horse archers, got caught out the open. Same with my guys over here. So what I'm going to have to do is pull back. I can't be drawn out into the open steppe, so I'm going to start reforming. Going to have my 2 rows of slingers right there, and then I'm going to start pulling these guys back. You can see everyone who's gone out into the desert has basically died. So that's just goes to show how powerful the enemy can be if I go and face them on their own terms. So I'm going to start pulling back, and you can see as I was pushing out, his guys just kind of fanned out in front of me. There was no way for me to chase them down. I have to make him come back and try and take me out. I still have a good amount of ammo on my slingers. You can see group 2 is basically full on ammo, and I've switched them to the front position. I'm going to move back my injured guys in the front. I want to wear them out first and keep some fresh guys in the back. And I'm going to keep to my hill. And yeah, that's going to be the goal right here, is going to be to keep doing what I've been doing, provide support with my spears, and anytime he moves up, combine fire on his guys. My opponent has wisened up to this. He knows a direct assault is not going to be good, so he's going to try and push the flanks. That's exactly what you want to do. So I obviously have to counter this. I'm going to move my cavalry behind the crest of the hill, hoping that he loses sight of them, and I can try and get a surprise attack on his men if he moves too close. I'm also going to move these slingers and archers up to the top of the hill. They're going to be my eyes in the sky, and they're going to try and respond to attacks like this in the flank. I'm going to start falling back to the crest of my hill, and my opponent is going to start moving up. As I do that, though, he's going to be able to take the opportunity to shoot at my guys as they retreat. So this is why I should have had more men just sitting at the top of the hill, in order to always have someone who can shoot at him, always have someone who can force him back. That was kind of the idea of having all these men that I had right here, the 3 lines. So that's why I tell 2 of my guys to turn around and shoot while the rest fall back. I don't want him to get free shots. And I'm going to fall back on this central hill. As I said, it gives me the most advantage. And I can even hide guys behind the hill from stray shots and from his view, which should allow me to get some extra ambushes. So these guys, you can see my horses. I figured I may be able to catch him unawares, so I'm going to force his guys back. Even if I don't land a charge, it's going to be enough to push him back. But he does spot the perfect opportunity. This is the ultimate failure on my part. He's able to charge in with one of his units right here and nail my guy. And that's exactly the last thing I needed. My opponent seized the opportunity and he got it. He charged in with some of his horse archers in melee mode. That's something you got to keep in mind of, that these guys are trained both to use the bow and obviously they have decent stats when it comes to melee attacks. So don't think you can get away with just thinking that the archers are not going to engage you right away. On the right, I've been able to engage his guys, but the main problem is I'm losing slingers to a degree that was unseen before. When it was just my guys being shot at, his charge is infinitely more effective, and he's just going to keep pushing through. He doesn't care if he loses that unit. He's going to keep pushing through and just try and knock out as many of my slingers as possible. At the same time, because he's distracted all my slingers, I can't support that push on the right, and my guys have been drawn out into the desert once again, and they're getting picked apart. So that one unit that basically spotted that opportunity and ran through was turned the tide of the battle, I would say. It allowed his guys obviously to knock out a lot more of my men. I can't counter his horse archers, and once he has that advantage, then he can start picking me apart. And I lost my guys on the very right. I couldn't support them with my archers, so I'm going to decide to fall back to the crest of the hill and make my stand there. My opponent is feeling emboldened, and he's going to start going all the way around my men. He's going to start moving in with his archers again, and it's going to be really hard for me to do anything. At least I still have my cataphract, so I'm going to decide to try and even the fight. Getting this downhill charge, I'm actually able to make good headway and charge into his guys. You'll see I'm even able to going to be able to catch up with some of them, so that's a small retribution to the damage he dealt me. So I'm hoping that'll be a bit of a evening up of the fight. My opponent, on the other hand, is going to be bringing in more and more lancers. He's deciding that he's going to try and knock out my cataphract, so I'm going to support them as much as I can while still carrying the top of the hill. So I have slingers here shooting at his men. And yeah, I'm going to be committing more and more guys to this fight. I hope if I can knock out his horse archers, then my spears on the top should be good. Again, he spotted another gap in my forces. At least this time I have some spears here, but he's going to try and get through anyways. Now I'm starting to be spread a bit too thin. You can see my guys right here can't really cover all of them, especially when I leave with those cataphract guys right there. They're just going to get, they're going to pull away more and more of my units, and it means he can actually engage just like this. Didn't react in time, even though he's going to get stuck up on my spears. He's able to spread through the gaps right there, and yeah, he totally got me. So my opponent did a really good job, and that's what happens when you start losing more and more men, is you get these situations where you just don't have enough guys to cover, or you're distracted and your opponent shoots the gaps. So kudos to my opponent for exploiting the moment, choosing the best time to engage. I'm going to be able to wrap up a bit on this flank. However, his cataphracts are very heavily armed, and they're going to be able to take out my men. At least hold their own for a little while. You can see his guys here are losing a good amount of men, but in the background he clearly has a lot more horses that can move in, and with every strike that he lands, that means my skirmishers really can't hold up. He finishes off my cataphracts right there, and just the sheer numbers is going to start weighing down on me here. You can see his guys right here up close looking very fierce, and even though he can't quite knock out these guys in a direct assault, he has so many of these horse archers left, and I really don't have any way to counter that. That's going to be the end of the battle. So Scary Guy lives up to his name, and he just wipes me off the steps right here. So good game to my opponent. I think I was doing pretty well for the battlefield until that one slip up, and then once that went, he just exploited the hell out of it, and it crumbled from there. So I hope that can teach you that in these types of battles, obviously when I was doing it correct, I had my triple layers of skirmishers, I had my spears in close support, that worked well, but the second that started to fall apart, that's when I lost. So I would keep that in mind as you're fighting your battles, and try and avoid the mistakes I made, and try and imitate sort of the successes I had. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and this is a bit informative. I will see you guys in the next battle. See ya.